When Kendrick Lamar was coming at Drake back in the day, the first thing he did was refer to him as a sensitive rapper.
And nothing been the same since they dropped Control and tucked the sensitive rapper back in his pajama clothes.
But today, we won't be talking about someone like Aubrey Graham because he's made that perception that he's a little soft to work for him and really owned it.
Jeez Louise, man. Want that shit? Drake's the type of guy that would say jeez Louise.
Instead, we're gonna focus on a few rappers whose sensitive nature has really been a hurdle in their career, or sometimes even damaged their own legacy. And when it comes to being a little too emotionally volatile to handle the constant scrutiny that comes with being a rapper, there's no greater poster boy for that than Logic. After initially getting a lot of positive fanfare, when he dropped his debut album Under Pressure, Logic's public persona began to overshadow his considerable rhyming ability. Because in a game where everyone has a hard exterior, even people like Hot 97's Paul Rosenberg thought that being soft was Logic's biggest problem.
I always pull Peter's leg about how when we first sat down and did our interview, we just talked about this, how he was like, "You're too nice." And he was like, almost like, I was like, damn, like I just traveled all the way over here to come meet you.
Already skating on thin ice with most fans, by the time he dropped his sci-fi inspired sophomore album, The Incredible True Story, it was his next album, Everybody, where the issues that would eventually drive Logic temporarily out of hip-hop really began to take root. As it was here where Logic became obsessed with expressing his biracial identity, so much so that there's literally compilations on YouTube about it.
I should be ashamed to be black, and some black people look ashamed when I rap, like my great-granddaddy didn't take a whip to the back. In my bloodline and in my lineage was the slave and the master. I'm a biracial person who looks white in a black man's rap game.
And in the minds of hardcore fans, it was this moment where he really killed the steam of his career, with some even going as far as to create petitions to revoke Logic's N-word pass. As one user on Logic's subreddit put it, memes about Logic being biracial killed him being taken seriously in hip-hop. Everybody and their mamas were making shitty memes about Logic being biracial at the time. People took it to an extreme, where now all of the comments are flooded with stupid biracial jokes, and it just sucks. From the moment he started getting trolled all the time online, Logic made it very obvious that he couldn't handle it. And in an interview with Billboard, Logic claimed that he had to reach out to his fellow light-skinned rapper / friend J. Cole to get advice on how to solve it, to which he responded by simply saying to not care. However, as much as he tried to move past it, Logic was incapable of celebrating his successes without focusing on the negative, as when people like Joe Budden claimed he was one of the worst rappers ever, he immediately took it to heart.
Logic, you are easily one of the worst rappers to ever grace a microphone. I'm gonna be honest with you. I know you sell out a whole bunch of tours, and I know just how successful you are. I have to be honest. You are horrible, man.
Sure enough, in 2020, Logic bowed out of the game with no pressure. And at the time, he was open to the fact that he was basically forced out of hip-hop from the emotional toll it was taking on him.
Because when I go on my phone, I've hit a level that's just loved or hated. And so I could literally, I mean, it happens all the time. It's like I go and I'll be like, I love you guys. And somebody's like, faggot. And I'm just like, yo, how can you just say this and nothing happens to you?
While Logic has since gone back on his retirement and is now dropping music again, it looks like the time off really did him some good, because by the looks of it, there are signs that he's finally at peace with simply dropping music for fun and not looking for anyone's approval.
You take a step back for yourself, for your mental health, for your son, for your wife. People say you fell off. Well, this is me falling off, and I love it.
While Logic has officially taken a backseat to all the drama that comes with being a rapper, one peer of his whose tendency to get in his own head and lose his cool actively damaged his come up is Wale. Hailing from DC, Wale was killing it when he originally bursted onto the scene. There was even a time where he was spoken about in the same breath as people like Kendrick, Drake, and Cole. But over time, he just kept getting in his own way to the point that it's alleged that the second verse on J. Cole's song, False Prophets, where he talks about a rapper homie who wants to win bad, is about him. Meanwhile, Kendrick, who was once close to him, basically ghosted him after he grew bitter over the success which escaped him. This is something that Wale himself chose to reveal publicly in an old tweet that read, "He ain't answered my phone since the last nomination. I get the Demi Lovato treatment from him now." But considering he is no slouch on the mic and was once signed to Rick Ross's MMG and Atlantic, the only thing that killed his momentum was his overly emotional nature. One fan pointed this out on a Reddit thread that read, "The dude argued with random fans, women, again, and he thought that he should be as big as Drake and Cole, but just wouldn't play his role. Everyone got tired of his attitude. To pinpoint where his emotions started to overshadow his music, we need to start with the chaotic phone call he had with a Complex writer over his album being absent from their list of best records of the year.
So you think it's responsible, you think y'all being a responsible publication by continuously to fucking like just do like all that petty shit? Like at this point, you know it's gotta be personal. And I don't want, and by you telling me it's not personal, it's like a bold-faced lie. Like to be omitted from every type of list that y'all do, or be at the bottom of it, or every type of way that y'all can omit me, y'all will. So I just need to know, like,
certain that everyone and everything was against him, Wale just kept going at the poor guy, and even when he was told it was nothing personal, he blew his top, threatening to come to the office.
There's no disrespect, man. I mean, straight up, I really... That's fucking dog! You know disrespect every fucking time, dog! I swear to God, I come to the office and start knocking niggas the fuck out. You want to see some ghetto ignorant shit? That's what y'all promote. That's the only thing y'all promote from niggas is ghetto ignorant shit. You want me to do that? Cause right now, it's like you give me the same song and dance like I'm a fucking idiot. You think I'm a fucking idiot? Is that what you're trying to tell me? No, man, not at all. Cause I think you think I'm a fucking idiot, dog. Cause y'all always do this shit.
Immediately, this was seen as a bad look for Wale, and he has since said that this moment was a turning point for him, as even OGs such as Jay-Z and Q-Tip tapped in to let him know that wasn't cool.
That's the very first thing Jay told me. You just validated them. You just made them.
The list is more important now than ever was.
Everybody brought it to me that day. Everybody brought it. I'm talking about Jay, Tata, everybody top to bottom. Q-Tip called me, Primo, you know what I'm saying? So I get like, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like when you do something bad in school and it's like, you come back from suspension and everybody's like, yo, what was you thinking? What was you thinking?
Considering this was way back in 2013, you would think that he would learn his lesson. But his issues with Complex did not end there. During an appearance on Everyday Struggle in 2017, Wale blew a gasket at academics when he was asked about the perception that he is corny amongst his fans.
The perception of you is that you might be corny. You thought that was me saying it to you. I'm just clarifying. I'm just clarifying that I didn't say that personally. Perception.
So who are these people? Who are they?
I mean, I see
somebody on the internet, an egg said that. You see people that think Donald Trump is doing a good job on Twitter too. I just don't understand where you're looking. If you're looking,
where are you looking?
If you're looking for something bad, you're gonna find it. You looking for hate on Wale, you're gonna find it. You looking for hate on Kendrick, you're gonna find it.
Do you think I'm leaving hate?
Notice that Academics wasn't even the one calling him corny, and he still got so defensive. Well, it got even sadder later in the interview, where Wale tried to downplay Academics' success by saying he was not the cool kid in school.
If this was all a high school, and we was all those different social groups and stuff like that, you're not with the guys like me. Guys like me.
What is a guy like you?
Guys like
you
me,
gotta explain it.
We play football.
Okay.
We get girls. We have parties. We do fun stuff.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
As a result, this was just another reason for the public to clown him and made him look even cornier in the process. This dude Wale brought up high school. Wale the type of guy that gets mad at his homeboy for telling him his girl's cheating on him. Wale the type of dude to hang around his old high school after graduating. Since then, Wale has been dropped by Atlantic and then signed with Warner after his last album, Fuller and 2, charted even lower than his debut album from 2009. And after the year 2022, the DC rapper hasn't released any music other than a single. And because of the emotionally charged mismanagement of his career, it's likely that he will only have his most hardcore fans awaiting his return. As bad as Wale's journey was, it's nothing in comparison to Nicki Minaj, who literally had mental breakdowns when it came to others criticizing her. Emerging into the rap game as a female in what was predominantly a man's world back then, Nicki Minaj's rise was unlike anything we've ever seen. Transcending hip-hop to become a real pop star, Nicki has well and truly earned the title of Queen of Rap. And at the beginning of her career, she understood that mental toughness was essential to surviving in hip-hop.
You have to be like a beast. You have to be a beast. That's the only way they respect you. I came up under Wayne. And Wayne has his way of doing things. When Wayne walks on a set and say, don't talk to me, have my music ready, get the up out of my face and I'm gonna blow this in your face all day, it's cool. But every time I put my foot down and stand up for myself, it's like, we've heard about Nicki Minaj. I'm glad you heard. Now, when I come to a photo shoot, let it be of quality. You know why? Because I put quality in what I do. I spend time and I spend every fiber of my being to give people quality.
But as the world of female hip-hop got more crowded and challenges to her own crown started popping up, Nicki's defensiveness and protection of her brand spiraled out of control to the point that it just made her seem unhinged. Suddenly, people like Wanna Thompson couldn't even air an opinion on Nicki's output without getting an angry DM from Minaj and death threats from the bar. Rather than the level-headed businesswoman that she once strived to be, Nicki was now going at anyone who so much as criticized her. This was evident when she appeared on a podcast with Joe Budden, who was critical of her in the past and accused her of being on drugs.
So you have to understand that there are people that are gonna believe you. Now they're thinking, oh, this psycho bitch just be getting up on her platform lying. When people say, oh, you shouldn't care, or you in your feelings, bitch, fuck you too if you think that I'm in my feelings or I'm whatever the fuck you think, because I am me, I'm a human being, and I have to defend myself because there's nobody else out there defending Onika Tanya Mirage.
Soon, her Queen radio show basically just became a place where she can go on to vent about whoever she thinks was dissing her. And over time, this led to a major victim complex. But those who dared and tried to criticize her, they had to deal with the threats she'd set her audience on them.
That is what the fuck you said.
Nigga.
You said, aren't you fueling it by responding? Have you ever been bullied for 12 years straight?
Nicki Minaj, you did not get bullied for 12 years straight.
Excuse me, since the day I got in this industry. Nigga, I'ma have my fans now start attacking you every fucking day.
By now, she's beefed with everyone from Cardi B to Lotto and tries to keep every other female rapper in line. But while there's arguments to be made about who won those beefs, Nicki finally lost her mind and the ability for anyone who wasn't a barb to defend her, especially when it came to her beef with Megan Thee Stallion. After firing strays at Megan for a while, with bars like "I ain't fucked with horses since Christopher Reeve," Megan finally clapped back at Nicki on the track Hiss, with a clever bar which referenced her husband's sex offender status. Suddenly, this sent Nicki into overdrive and proved once and for all that she lost any kind of composure she once had.
Yeah, the result is apparently no longer, it's just rap, Now it's nothing but whining and crying and pissing and moaning and crocodile tears, and it's like, oh, you went after her family. Sadly, it's just a classic case of somebody who is, again, a cry bully and wants to dish it out, but can't take it when it's getting pushed back in their direction. So now she's dropping tweets like, Megan's Law, for a free beat, you could hit Megan Raw.
Unfortunately, that perception would only get worse when she went on Instagram to rant about Megan in a seriously deranged way.
Lied on her dead mama. Right after the funeral, she on her dead mama. I said, lied on her dead mama.
You're lying on your dead mama. You're lying on your dead mama.
You will not disrespect Papa Bear, you dirty fucking ran through bird ass, bum ass bitch. Broke bitch. You broke bitch. Tell them the truth, bitch.
The IG thing was nuts. She sounds like a person you switch cars for on the subway. That incident led to the release of the diss track Bigfoot, where she made some serious allegations about the Houston rapper's character and demanded Megan to apologize or the revelations would keep coming. Initially, the song broke streaming records, but would soon trail behind Megan's Hiss in the race for the #1 spot that week. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I saw a single soul call this song good.
Where Nicki went wrong is this was not innovative, it was lazy, and really and truly it was just trash. It just sounds like a social media rant with a beat under it.
Since then, all those alleged secrets that she was supposedly going to expose never even emerged. And now, people are wondering where she's supposed to go from here, after she did the worst thing possible in hip-hop, which is let her emotions get the best of her. No matter what Nicki has to say next, doesn't change the fact that she has lost, which is completely her fault, LOL. Are people still gonna love Nicki, but just make fun of her for this one instance? Or are we gonna accept that this is Nicki's fall from grace? For Nicki, her main problem that's damaged her credibility is that she's taken defending herself way too far. But she's not the only one guilty of that, because when it comes to a Sicilian-born rapper by the name of Russ, he has a tendency to escalate things to the point where hands are thrown. A self-sustainable rapper who has one of the most successful independent runs of all time, Russ is truly a self-made man in the game who raps, produces, and even engineers his own work. As a result, he landed on the Forbes list of richest rappers without ever really having a mainstream hit. Despite that, Russ always seems to have a chip on his shoulder. And while that can be motivating for some, the problem is that he's a little too eager to stand on business, or more accurately, have someone else do it for him. As a result, there have been several times where he's gotten people jumped for merely mentioning his name. For example, after Adam22 made fun of his anti-drug stance by editing his t-shirt and posting it on the No Jumper account, Adam ended up finding himself on the receiving end of a beatdown in the nail salon, which he infamously admitted in a video which now has over 1.5 million views.
So I'm like, oh God, can't I just get my fucking nails done? I'll turn around and boop! Oh, got punched in the goddamn head. Didn't see the guy that well, but punched me in the head one time, and then I believe I got hit again, sort of on the top of the head. But then he's on Academics live stream talking about it, and Russ just pops in there and says, this motherfucker Adam22 got touched too.
Later, Russ tried to justify the whole thing, and it seemed like he was out to prove that he shouldn't be viewed as some non-threatening rapper.
If you're talking shit about another grown-ass man, you're using your platform. Like I said, you're mobilizing your army, and you're using your platform to negatively throw stones at my castle. If you get confronted about it, whether it be me or anyone else, there should be zero surprise in your head. If there is a surprise that, oh my God, wait, there's ramifications for my actions? And the problem is you think you judge the book by its cover, because you would not be talking like that to 21 Savage or to Gucci.
Clearly, this idea that he's soft is a major issue for Russ, because soon after Adam was jumped, another man who took shots at him over his anti-drug campaign, Smoke Perp, got beat up at a music festival in Germany. In a video I cannot show you on YouTube, Smoke Perp can be seen getting the beats put on him blow after blow for a minute straight, while he was backstage at the Splash Festival in 2018. Without hesitation, Russ was back to brag about it, even if he didn't really do anything.
Those kids, those are clowns, bro.
Did you see him at any festival? Did you?
Yeah, we've caught one of them at a festival. That motherfucker knows what time it is, bro.
Which one?
Still, try as he might to act tough, Russ was still seen as a punk by the hip-hop community. Holy fuck, did Russ break the simulation? He was finally close to a W, still an L for 5X security jumping a junkie. He just stood on the sidelines, a big L. Suddenly taking on anyone who he thought had disrespected him, Guapdad 4000 wasn't even dissing Russ, and he still ended up on the receiving end of a beating as well, which is of course in another video I cannot show you on YouTube. But immediately after it happened, Guapdad jumped on live to try and explain what went down.
You said, hey, let's talk about this song, bro. I said, cool, I'm on the phone with my brother. I turned around and you snaked me, then ran in your trailer and had your security try to beat me up. Your security couldn't get me, so your partners tried to chase me, and then they got beat up by the fence.
Although Russ claimed that the Oakland rapper got what he wanted in an interview with Nick Cannon,
leave me alone, I'll leave y'all alone.
Right.
You don't see me just pulling up on random people.
But that's real. Hey,
keep my name out of your
mouth.
That's what I'm saying. I got to come talk.
Guapdad said that he basically gave Russ a compliment for his hustle, and it was the rapper's notoriously sensitive nature that caused the issues.
I got a song called Pride of Process where I say you doing right, but we don't care. I call that doing Russ.
Damn.
And Russ didn't like that.
Oh.
But I mean, to this day, I could openly say I never had no problem with the nigga. I was just talking about his stance in the game is an interesting case study for real.
What do you
because
say?
People like Russ live and can live off of and prosper in hip hop. Right? Like, look at his accomplishments, look at what he do, but also be completely removed from the culture. That's what the bar was about.
Despite the fact that he probably thought he was defending his name in a way that hip-hop would ordinarily respect, the fact that he seemed to get his goons to do most of the work had the opposite effect. As a result, letting his emotions govern his decision has seriously limited his appeal, as the cloud of that kind of behavior has hung over him ever since. So while he's still making a bag, it would be so much bigger if so much of hip-hop's listenership hadn't written him off after this kind of behavior. However, quite possibly the most sensitive rapper in the game is Chance the Rapper. But if you guys want to hear the story behind that one, you can click the video on the screen.